Welcome to Beyond the Closing Table. I'm your host, Michael Martin, and I'm here to interview top producing real estate agents, top producing loan officers, and business owners. Very excited today to have a friend of mine, Mr. Chris Mann, here with us today. Chris is the owner of Mann, McGivney, and Jordan, attorney, a law firm here in the Triangle, and really excited to have you here, man. Thanks for being.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me to come.
Yeah. You and I probably known each other for, I'd probably say close to like 8 years, 7-8 years, something like that.
Yeah, that seems right.
I feel like I met you once I was actually in this office in Fairway. In fact, I remember because I reached out to you and said, hey, man, we need to hang out. I need to get invited to your Christmas party in January.
The notorious Christmas parties.
That's right. And you said, you've been invited, and I'd changed companies before that. And you're like, it must have been going to my old email address. But let's talk about a couple different things I want to get into that. You are known for certainly many things, but one of the things that you're known for is your wonderful Wednesday lessons that you do for real estate. Your real estate class with Chris on Wednesdays. How did you get started doing that? And I'd love to know kind of maybe some of the more outrageous things that you've done with that or comments that you've gotten from it.
Yeah, the very first one I remember, it was back when Go Realty still existed as an entity, and I was in their carry office, and it was just a terrible transaction. And the seller was a jerk, and the listing agent was handling that seller as best they could, but probably could have done a little bit better of a job. And I was just like, this is a mistake that I see realtors make all the time. And I was like, I have this like following on Facebook where people enjoy what I, because most of my Facebook at that point was me being sort of like a clueless bachelor. That was my Facebook persona at the time, which was accurate at the time. And so I was like, okay, so what can I do with this to sort of help realtors not make this mistake? And so I was like, oh, I can do it was a Wednesday. I was like, I can do like a little midweek real estate class with Chris. It's exactly what I called it, just that's the choice I made at the time. And I sort of, without naming names, sort of gave the fact pattern and say, hey, like realtors, like maybe address it in this way so we don't have the same problem. And it got a lot of engagement. Everybody really liked it. The realtor involved did not like it. They knew.
The listing agent specifically.
The listing agent specifically knew. So I learned a lesson there, which is wait. Like when something happens where I'm like, I can use this, I'm going to wait a couple of months and not do that again. But one of the things that I love about it is that when I post something like that, I'll have 10 realtors text me, you jerk. Like, this was me. And I'm like, it wasn't you. It was you and everyone else. Like, it wasn't just you. And I try to change little bits and pieces so it never actually lines up exactly with anyone. But it's just been one of these things where it's been really useful and really helpful. And I just have learned over time that there are certain things, if I can't make them funny, not to do it.
Yeah.
Like there have been a time or two where I've upset people and made all of Realtor World mad. And so those I've sort of backed off of a little bit. But like it's usually just like repetitive things that agents do.
I don't remember the exact situation, and because of that, I won't bring it up either because I can't remember it. But I do remember texting back and forth with you one evening a few years ago about one that may have gone a little bit sideways.
Oh yeah, for sure. There was, and I'll it's fine. It was probably the one where I overtly acknowledged that if a seller tells us don't pay the agents, and if they direct us not to pay the agents, we're not allowed to pay the agents. And that got everyone very angry.
That's exactly what it was. Yes.
One of our paralegals, her mother actually like texted me, and she's like, "What did you say to make all the realtors so mad?" It's like,
Well, and
But
it's all you were doing is just saying, this is the law.
Right.
I just need you to know that. Like, take good care of your clients so they don't ask for you not to get paid.
And honestly, when that situation comes up, it's almost never even that. It's something even dumber. But the Form 220 actually kind of addresses it a little bit. It makes it a little bit better. But then the new contract where they're actually putting it, going to make it a part of the contract, or at least you can if you want, is going to make that a little bit easier too.
Okay.
For everybody that was mad at me about that. Because it was everybody.
It was a lot of people, that is for sure. I remember reading that thing going, wow, that was, I'm not sure he was looking for that.
No, I was definitely not.
But, speaking of your, Wednesday, and probably in just about anything you do, but specifically that weekly post that you do, you have this, you and I have talked about this, you have the most amazing way to say something that's very specific to a person, but not to that person. And it somehow you come across as a hero in most of the posts. Because most of the comments are, great job, Chris, or whatever. Very, so very supportive. There's probably a few DMs and texts that you get separately, but because nobody wants to acknowledge that they were the person that you might have been talking about in the middle of that post. So you do have an amazing. It's funny, actually. I cannot do that. Like, I know I can't. No matter what, if I were to come, like, make one of those things, I would sound like an asshole, for sure, right?
Yeah.
So funny enough, the other day, I posted something, and it was about me getting a shot for the vaccine because I'm now over 50, right? So I've got the pneumonia shot. And I just posted something like, I'm just this age where I'm getting the pneumonia vaccine, and man, it didn't hurt that bad when he put it in, but holy crap, about 3 hours later, and for 2 days, it hurt like somebody, hit me with a hammer on my shoulder. I just went over here. And I posted something about it. And then somebody posted something about, vaccines and, whatever, right? And so you believe what you want. Please believe whatever you want, but please allow me to believe what I want to as well, right? And so I just really don't want to get pneumonia.
Right. That's the thing. Like, you getting a vaccine's not hurting anybody.
That's right. Exactly. So anyway, somebody posted, and I wanted to like come back at them so bad. And I was like, I know there's no way I'm going to be able to do that without something. And I didn't really know who the person was. So I used my friend ChatGPT.
Right.
And I was like, I want to sound like Chris Mann. I didn't say that, but that's basically what I did. And I got so much feedback, positive feedback from my comment that was witty back at that person, but not being a jerk. And I was like, all right, that's the way Chris Mann's brain works. So anyway, it's funny. I can't do that without some help, but I will utilize the help. ChatGPT is a great way to take one of those posts or texts or whatever or emails and go, here's what I'm trying to say. Make me not sound like an a-hole, and it will help you a lot.
So I have I've not used ChatGPT yet because I'm old.
You're not that old. You're
but
way younger than me.
I haven't yet figured out where to utilize it. But like, I know the realtors that I work with love it. Like, they absolutely love it. They're like, you can use it for this and this. And I'm like, even I won't name drop it yet. But like, I was talking about like I have a new house and my bedroom and what I want to color, I want to paint it. And then a realtor started sending me pictures of my bedroom with different paint colors already added and looked at like genuine and real. I was like, okay, maybe there's some utility here.
Yeah, I think there might be.
There's some utility here. I should use.
Yesterday, I actually hosted an event at Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors with 3 real estate agents, Brian Pate, Jordan Lee, and Anna Powell, and I had them talking about how they're utilizing AI for the real estate.
Right.
We had 100+ agents there.
Right.
It was an amazing event. You and I'll have to chat outside of this about how I can share some things that I've used.
Okay.
It is pretty amazing. Okay, so let's talk about where are you from originally?
I grew up in Maryland for a while and then rural Tennessee.
Okay.
Through high school.
Rural Tennessee. So where in Maryland first?
It was outside. It was like an hour northwest of Baltimore, county called Carroll County, Westminster, Hampstead, Manchester.
Okay. Yeah, very good. I grew up in Alexandria, so
Yeah.
not too far from there. And so your family moved to Tennessee when you were young?
Yep. Well, middle school.
Okay. Yeah, pretty young.
Yeah.
And so where in rural Tennessee?
So if you drive south,
most of Tennessee is rural, I think.
Right. It's southern middle. So if you drive south of Nashville and then hit Alabama, turn around 5 minutes, and that's where it's called Lawrenceburg. It's there's no reason necessarily to be there unless you're like trying to visit somebody that lives there. It's
Sure.
in the middle of nowhere.
And so how in the heck did you end up in law school? And I saw, and you went to William and Mary, right?
That's right.
And obviously a very good school in law school. How did you end up in law school? And then how the heck did you end up in Raleigh?
Well, the law school, and I'm the only attorney I know that admits this. I went to law school because I was smart and aimless. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and the LSAT exam didn't have math on it. And while I'm pretty good at a lot of things, one thing I'm not good at is math.
Okay.
And so I was like, I'll take that like entrance exam for graduate school, and I did well and ended up at William and Mary. Honestly, I think half of law school is that exact person. Just nobody ever wants to admit it. They always have a story about why they went to law school. But maybe I'm a cynic. I don't know. So that's how I ended up at law school. And then, ended up in Raleigh. It's traditional stories all this time. I followed a girl. After law school, ended up down here, and that didn't work out. And I'd already passed the bar, so I wasn't going anywhere else. Like I'm not doing that again. So I was like,
at least another state. Yeah.
Right. Like I'm here. And I'd moved into downtown Raleigh when all that sort of, when I ended up single I was like, I love it here. Like it's 2008 Raleigh. It was the Mayberry of cities. Like it was awesome.
Well, there might have been
still is awesome.
kind of weird things going on around that time as well.
Yeah, so it was like, it was lots of strange, but it was still such a small city feel.
Yeah.
And it still kind of is. And so I loved it. I was like, I can't imagine going anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree with you. Even though the city has grown immensely, I was talking with someone yesterday at this little event we had, and they were talking about how she moved here from, it's actually the lady that's the CEO of the Raleigh Regional Association of Realtors. She moved here from Miami, or I think she said Miami, Florida. And she's like, everybody complains about the traffic here. Like they have no idea what traffic is. Like, are you kidding me? But they've been here for 20 years and didn't have any traffic. Like, oh my gosh, it takes me 25 minutes to get to work now.
Right.
So I have been pretty blessed since I've been in Raleigh. Probably the longest commute I've ever had is 15 minutes, because I've always just lived really close to where my office has been. I actually kind of like a long visit or a long drive, so I can like either make a bunch of phone calls or listen to a podcast or audiobook or something like that. I do love the phone. I guess I found a job that I can utilize my talent and skill and passion. So how did you figure out real estate law? Where did that come into play?
So I had a series of bad jobs. My first handful of jobs out of law school were not great, in which I acknowledge I've come to acknowledge that I was just a bad employee. Not that all the jobs I had were bad, but I was a bad associate attorney, and I know that about myself. And at some point, I quit my last job and started my own firm, and I had like a plan to do appellate work and a little bit of criminal here and there, real estate, like basically a broad range of things. And the real estate just took over like quickly. It very much became, I don't have time for anything else. And once that started happening, like, okay, so this is what we're doing. So it wasn't necessarily intentional to have this firm the way that it exists right now, which is 100% real estate. But once it got going, like that sort of took over everything else. Since I opened the firm, I haven't done a single appellate file. I haven't done a single criminal case, like not even one.
Are there any other areas that you do focus on at all?
Nope.
So not even like estate planning and that stuff?
We don't have estate planning. We should. Like every firm that does what I do has estate planning. But if I'm going to do it, I need to have an attorney who is focused 100% on that. And I've just never hired that person.
Do you refer it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do in the off times, like so in the winter time, we have an attorney who enjoys doing like corporate setups and that sort of stuff. And so we'll do that for clients and for agents who want to set up their LLC or their S Corp or C Corp or whatever. But we do that like in the winter because in the summer we don't have the capacity for that.
Yeah. It's interesting. There's so many different areas of law, and real estate law has a lot of facets to it. Like there's let's just run into some of these. Like, what are the biggest, weirdest challenges you've seen in your practice? Like, there's so many weird things that we randomly run into. Fortunately, we don't run into a lot, but when they happen, you're like, are you freaking kidding me?
I mean, like for our area of law, usually the weird stuff is related to like estates, divorcing couples,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. Because like 95% of transactions are pretty straightforward. I mean, I always tell people who want to get into this, you need to get comfortable with monotony because every file is the same. Title searches are the same. The loan packages are the same. Like it's pretty normal. But that little 5% that's not the same can get weird fast. So like, we have 4 heirs on a file selling grandma's property. And there's a 5th heir that they've lied about and tried not to tell us about that lives out in California that they don't like, that doesn't want to sell. So they're trying to keep that from us so that we don't find out about it. Because as soon as we find out about it, we're going to blow up the whole transaction. That happens 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Where we find out about an heir they didn't want us to know about, or a divorcing couple that like just the conflict that can happen in that situation, which causes we've been holding hundreds of thousands of dollars on a file since 2019.
Wow.
Because they still can't agree on the split.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. That seems like a long time.
Like, y'all don't want your money? Come get your money. So like that sort of stuff, like it happens a fair amount.
Yeah. So speaking of come get your money, I always think of you guys sometimes saying come get your lock boxes. Is that still an issue anymore?
No, COVID fixed that problem. Yeah, so pre-COVID, buyers agents loved to take the lockbox off the house, come to closing, hand me the lockbox, say listing agent's going to come pick this up, and then listing agent would never come pick it up. And I mean, you probably have seen that video. I did a video of hundreds of lockboxes, and that wasn't even all of them. The ones that were in the video, hundreds and hundreds of lockboxes. But now, post-COVID, I mean, the Century lockboxes sort of have helped that too, where nobody wants to give up a $200 lockbox.
Yeah.
So it's not as big a deal. But we used to have like lockbox Christmas trees in the offices at Christmas time. We put up a Christmas tree and then hang all lockboxes on it.
Must have been a sturdy Christmas tree.
It was. We had to have those specifically purchased for that intention.
That's great. So, all right. So since you brought up Christmas, let's go back to the infamous Christmas party. So first of all, how did that start? You were certainly willing. It got huge, and then COVID happened.
That's
and
right.
As far as I know, there hadn't been one since.
There hasn't. We were the last thing everyone did before COVID in 2020.
Oh yeah, it was in January.
It was in January. It was the last thing everybody did. Yeah. So the very first one. So when I first started the firm in 2013, I didn't have like expectations of growing this big thing, and that first year was amazing. Like in that first year, I hired 2 employees. Like we grew at that rate, and I was just sort of overwhelmed with like the support. And so I was like, I want to throw a party. And so I went to Clouds Brewing. It was like they had just opened like 2 months before, and I was like, I want to throw a party. And they were like, oh, we just opened. Nobody's showing up in here. Like,
That'd be great.
that'd be great. It cost $4,000. It was amazing. He was like, all you want to drink, all you want to eat, $4,000. I was like, sold. And it was 80 people, which was awesome. And then every year we did it after that. We changed it. That was in Thanksgiving, so we called it Manny Thanks with 2 N's because I'm very obnoxious about my name. And so we did it at Thanksgiving, and then we shifted it after the year after we started doing it, the week between the league championship games and the Super Bowl. So that's the 1 week with no football. We would do it that Friday.
That makes sense, Tim.
And we did it. We did it Clouds in a different bar, and then at Vidrio a couple of years.
Yep.
And we just every year we're going to do it. And then the last 2 years we did it at that music venue behind Costco.
The Ritz.
The Ritz. There you go. Thank you. We did the last 2 years at the Ritz, and we went from 80 people the first year to somewhere between 900 and 1,000 the last year. And even like people in the firm were like, okay, like this is maybe getting out of hand. But it was fun. Like it was my favorite things to do. It's still my favorite thing. Like I wanted.
Did you get stressed out ahead of it?
Well, so I did a really good job even from the very beginning of every vendor that we hired. Like everything we did was like, I'm going to give you money, just make it happen. Like, don't run out of food, open bar, the band's going to do their thing. Because at the Ritz, we had a band.
Yeah, I remember.
And like, just don't run out of food and don't run out of booze. Because Vidrio did. both years run out of food and booze, which wasn't like I remember some friends who didn't know that I was throwing the party but were eating at Vidrio, and they were like, all we saw all night long were people carrying up cases of vodka. I was like, but like as long as they didn't run out of food, I was fine. Like just everybody's gonna have a good time. And so I never got super stressed.
You had to cut up Chris Mann's.
Yeah.
Everybody got to take pictures with.
Yeah. Well, I knew that I couldn't go to the the photo booth, because as soon as I stood in one picture, everybody was going, Chris, stay. I was like, I cannot do that. So I did the cardboard cutout of Chris, which seems very arrogant, and I acknowledge that. But what people don't realize, or maybe they do and they don't care, is that whoever pays for the photo booth, like when you hire them, they send you all the pictures at the end of the night, every picture that's been taken. And the volume of pictures of people doing terribly inappropriate things to Cardboard Chris, it was like I wanted to post them on Facebook, but then even I couldn't do.
Oh
my
my goodness, that is. Did you at least send them to them?
Oh, I did. Yeah. I did. I was like, dude, John, what's going on here?
That's classic. All right, so let's talk about your fingernails. Right, so clearly people are watching this video. If you're listening, you don't know this, but Chris has blue fingernails, and I figured why they had been that way, but he got explained to me a little earlier. So let's talk. You're a single dad. Mm-hmm. Your daughter, you said it is
she's 5 years old.
Just turned 5, right?
Just turned 5
last week, and so let's talk about how you manage being a single dad. I'm assuming, I already know, right? She helped you paint or get those nails painted. You said that you get them painted for your birthday and for hers.
We go to the nail salon on my birthday and then on her birthday. So I spend most of the summer with fabulous nails. Toes too. You can't see I got the boots on, but we get her nails done. So I, like, as a single dad, I am constantly in search of traditions, like for us, because it's always just us. Christmas, we wake up in the morning, it's just us. And so I'm like, okay, what can we do to make every event a little bit special? Looking for traditions. And she doesn't care about any of that. She is 5 years old. But she has 2 traditions she cares about. One is for her birthday in the morning, she wants to open the bedroom door and have all the balloon streamers all over her door. So like I stay in her room until she falls asleep every night. It's just been the way that it is. And her birthday, the night before her birthday, all of a sudden I hear her whispering, "Dad, you can go." And I was like, "What?" This never happens. And she's like, and she starts to whisper so that like she can keep it a secret from herself. I want to make sure that you have time to do the balloons.
I just wanted to take a quick second and say thank you so much for watching our podcast so far. If you do me a huge favor before you forget about it, to like, subscribe, and if you would, just leave a quick comment about what you think of the podcast. And if you want to share it with your friends, I'd love that too. Thanks again so much. We'll finish up right now.
I was like, okay, don't worry. I'll do it. It'll be a surprise. Don't worry. But then the other one she loves is the nails. Like she loves to go get her nails done for her birthday. And it's like the women at the nail salon love her because she's so sweet and cute.
She is absolutely adorable.
Yeah. And these are the 2 traditions she cares about.
That's cool, man. Yeah. And so how do you manage that? Like what you do with her and doing that, and then also, of course, running a very successful large firm?
I have learned in the last couple of years much more how to not micromanage, because I was, and you talk to anybody at the firm that has been there for more than 2 or 3 years, I was a micromanager for a long time, and I learned to give that up. And everybody at the firm loves that so much because sometimes I was standing in my own way. Absolutely. So I've given up the micromanaging, and I've learned to delegate and trust. I will give Ron Bauer at our firm and Rachel Kane and Rachel Kell, Allison, so much credit for taking over some managerial things that for years I didn't want to give up. And so they've done an amazing job, and I've learned to delegate because, I'm going to be in at 9:30 at 10 because I got to make sure Mimi gets to school. I'm going to be leaving at 2:30 because I got to go pick her up. If there's an event at school, I'm not missing it. And so they've done an amazing job of helping me and giving me the freedom and the flexibility to do all of those things. And I think that was the changing point really for me and for the firm, was saying, oh, I have all these great people. I can trust them. And so that's been an incredible part of that, an incredible part about allowing me to be a dad.
So it's really interesting. Where do you think, right, just from another business person, me owning, the mortgage group and running this, I always have this concern of, because I used to be a micromanager for sure, like really, and I can jump back into that
Oh,
seat
yeah, me too.
in a heartbeat.
As soon as I get a text message with somebody even mildly annoyed, I'm like,
Uh-huh. Yes, right. So that's what happens, and so it's like, as long as everything's going smooth, I don't need to know anything, right? But if there's an issue or a problem, or if you think there's an issue that's going to come up, I'd love to know about it because I don't want to hear about it from one of our partners, right?
Right.
I got a text the other day, and this rarely happens, but and it was a closing that we're doing pretty quickly, and from an agent, I think it was Monday or Tuesday morning, and we're closing on Friday, and she's like, "Hey guys, what's up with the final numbers yet?" And I'm like, "Well, let me check."
Yeah.
And so, Nicole got her exactly what she needed right away, but I'm like, we don't like. I don't want to have this. It sounds like this was specifically was a borrower
Right.
that's just a worrier, right?
Right.
That's concerned, and so the agent's making sure that they're got what they need to calm down. But I try really hard to step out of that and and delegate like crazy. I've learned like, man, delegation is awesome. It really is. But you got to have trust,
Right.
and that takes some time to build up. So where I was going with that is, one of the things I've realized, like if I am not actively in my business constantly, frankly, for me prospecting, as long as I've been doing this for 23 years, and as good as our reputation is, and as partners that we worked with for so many years, it still is very much like if I'm not staying involved in it regularly, then the business seems to kind of just slowly kind of fade away until I get back in it, and then all of a sudden it'll lift right back up. How do you do that? How do you do what you do, but also kind of still make sure that the business is still flowing in?
So for us, I mean, it's very similar. Like we're in sales, and
Yeah.
and the product is us,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you're selling mortgages, but basically you still are selling you.
Sure.
And similar for me, I'm selling a real estate legal service, but it's the relationships that we build, and so that's the part that I focus on. And so what I have done to take myself out, and you've done a similar thing, is I take myself out of the process. So I take myself out of, I'm not doing title work. I'm not sitting at the table most of the time. I still do it a little bit here and there, sit at the table, but I'm not managing the files or any of the files or any part of the files. And I focus on the relationships. And as long as I can do that, and I can do that between 10 and 3, or like I can do that with my texting or phone calls or Facebooks or whatever. I just said Facebooks with an S at the end. I'm never going to live that down. But so focusing on those things allows us to maintain the business, and as long as the process is going smoothly, we should be fine.
Yeah.
But and one of the things I've learned is like when somebody gets that, you get that text message and somebody's like mildly annoyed, is maybe like what I've learned is to not immediately go to 11 in my anxious, as maybe pick up the phone and call and say, what's going on? Talk to the attorney first or whoever, the paralegal in the file. Because usually I've already gone to a place farther along in their frustration than they are. And as once I talk to them, they're not even mildly annoyed.
Yeah.
It just came through that way in a text message or an email. But when I talk to them, they're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no big deal. And then I can come back down off that ledge because I promise you I was on that ledge. And nobody at the firm likes that. Like nobody.
No.
When I'm like in somebody's DMs at the office, like what's going on with this file, they're immediately like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
But just I focus on like I do sales meetings and all that kind of stuff.
So what do you do to keep collaborated with your team? Like, how do you lead the team? You guys have multiple offices. Does everybody come together? Is it done via Zoom? How do you do that?
So we use Slack,
Okay.
So we use Slack for all the offices because we have people in the Outer Banks and we have people in Wilmington, and so getting everybody together. I mean, it hasn't happened in years.
Sure.
So we use Slack for that, and we use Slack like it's the way we communicate with everything. And I oftentimes, if I'm not doing other things, I'm in Slack just being obnoxious, and sort of helping. Helping a little bit. I call it with the culture a little bit, but I don't know if that's the right word. Because we have people that in the firm who've maybe met me twice because I don't go down to Wilmington all that much.
Sure.
Or, that sort of thing. And so allowing them to know who I am and see me and talk to me and that sort of thing. So we do that for the internally, and I go and visit the offices in the Triangle and try not to scare people a little bit, or try to, depending on the situation. But yeah, that's.
Do you have an actual office somewhere?
I work downtown.
Yeah, okay.
That's where my office is, and it's the messiest, most ridiculous office we have. And I'm never going to clean it. It is what it is.
If my team didn't help straighten mine up on a regular basis, it would be pretty bad too. So, and it's still not great. It's tucked away in the corner over there.
Yeah. People have to intentionally go looking for you.
That's right. That's right. So, cool. So it sounds like that's kind of how you've kept your culture alive, and you talk about your team in your posts a lot, right? In your social media. Everything from Kathy's chili cook-off, betrayal.
Oh yeah, back in the day. That's old school right there.
But you talk about all this stuff, and you clearly believe in your team, and I think all the real estate partners can see that and know that and feel that. And if there's an issue, generally, they know you're going to figure it out and solve it. So I think that's important. What do you see next for for your office? And by the way, are the other two named partners actually still part of your firm?
No, Greg McGivney and Jennifer Jordan both retired a couple of years ago. And they own a farm in Person County. So if you are ever like at the Apex Farmers Market, I know that they're there, or I think Durham Farmers Market, and you see McGivney Family Farms.
No
That's
kidding.
Greg and Jennifer.
No kidding.
So we just never changed the name because by that point everybody knew MM&J.
Yeah.
So leave it alone.
Got it.
Yeah, which they are amused by because they were in Durham forever, and now they got their name on signs
All over. Yeah.
all over
the state.
North Carolina.
So speaking of, so where are you? So you mentioned the coast. Where on the coast?
Wilmington, Outer Banks.
Okay.
And then we have 4 here in the Triangle: Durham, Briar Creek, Raleigh, and Cary.
Got it. Do you have any plans to expand beyond that?
I mean, if I say this out loud, Ron's going to get mad at me. But like we're looking at like Pittsboro-ish, kind of some. I mean, we have not found the right place or anything like that, but that's been on our mind. At some point, JoCo, maybe Wake Forest. We've been getting pushed by a couple of agencies who have offices. Ron is going to get real annoyed with this in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
God, he's going to be so mad. But so we've at least been entertaining those things down there. I don't have any license in South Carolina, so that's something
you
to
didn't have to
consider.
worry about too bad.
Yeah,
Do you have to be licensed, or could you just hire a licensed person?
We're working on all of the rules there. Like I know that there are firms that are down there that like the partner isn't licensed in South Carolina. So I think in North Carolina it would be weird. I think that you'd have to be, but I don't know about there yet.
Got it. All right. Is there any sort of like fun, crazy story that you would just love to share that you've had, in your, whether it's on your team or in your, from agents or closings or any of that stuff?
Let's see. I mean, I did a closing. This is just sort of like the closing that never dies. It's I did a closing for Brian Holtz in 2017, I think. It might have been 2016. It might have been 2015. Like it was
A while ago.
8 to 10 years ago. And Brian knew at the walk, like at the initial, like looking at the house, that this seller was squirrely. And so before he even put in the offer, he's like, hey, can you go look up this dude and see if you have any judgments against him?
So he was the buyer's agent.
The buyer's agent. And he knew. He was just like, something's not right. And so we looked him up. Guy had no judgments. I was like, should be fine. Got no judgments against him. Like he's going through a divorce. I can see that. But other than that, no. And he's like, okay. Puts in the offer. They get it. The buyer, lovely woman. She's now an agent in Wilmington. Works with us down there. She sold it 4 years later. But so we did the transaction. And we get an order from district court judge that the seller can't have his money. Hold the money. You can do the closing, hold the money. We did it. And then we get an order 2 months later, all the money goes to his ex. It's like, okay. I gave him time to appeal. He lost that. He then filed for bankruptcy.
So you hold the money until all that?
Till all that.
Yeah.
Held all the money. And then he files for bankruptcy, thinking that's going to keep the money from going to his ex. Doesn't work, and eventually we give the money to his ex. He has sued me twice over this. He's sued it's currently like it's happening right now. He sued me, the current governor, the last governor, multiple banks, multiple attorneys just all over the Triangle, Whole Foods, just everyone, and it will never go away.
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods,
He's suing Whole Foods.
along with me in the same lawsuit.
Oh wow.
So it will never go away, and we know that. We know that this will never go away, and that I will be filing answers in this forever, because it's a vast conspiracy.
It sounds for sure interesting that he would name all these different.
Yeah, well, that's genuinely like for my E&O, because I have to tell them about it, and they're like, what's the deal? What are you doing as a firm to prevent this from happening again? And I was like, I don't know, encouraging people to get better mental health. Like, I like, and then all I have to do is send them the complaint, and they're like, okay, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to wrap up here in just a little bit, but I want to, you've got some time here. You obviously have all these lessons that you've taught over throughout the years. If there's two or three things that you could teach maybe a new agent or maybe an agent that's been around for a long time that maybe just doesn't know,
Right.
What can they do to make their lives easier, your life easier, or at least your team, and most importantly, their buyer or seller's life easier? Are there anything that comes off your mind that just would help them understand how to be a little bit better, serve their clients at a better level, and cause less pain for everyone?
I mean, I think that you'll notice, like throughout the years, one of the consistent themes that we have in those is chill out and be nice. That is a consistent theme. There is this sort of anxiety that comes from like, okay, something might be wrong, or this isn't happening at the same pace I'm expecting, or whatever, and people sort of start to get frayed around the edges, and they start to get frustrated and start to be mean. Calm down, be nice. The other one is like if you're on the listing side, what we often have happen with attorney or with agents that are on the listing side that are working with us, who have been working with some other attorney on their buy sides, and we do something different than the way that their attorney on their buy sides does it. They think we don't know what we're doing, and they come at us, and they're like, "You don't know what you're doing." No, we're just doing it different. It's not wrong. It's just different. Bring it down. And often that'll be like, you're right now your seller still can't like e-notarize a deed. Like it's legal here, but they've approved no vendors for it, so it's still technically not legal. But if you've only been handling buyers all this time, and you think this is a thing, and we say no, and then you yell at us, it's because you just don't know how the system works. Come down, like ask questions. Come out from a place of curiosity, not from hostility or anger or frustration. That's the biggest one, because it's just, if we're all working toward the same the same end goal, we can get there. But if you start to be sort of antagonistic or looking for conflict, you'll find it.
Yeah.
So that's the big one. The other one is what are we hired for? Like when you are hiring us, you're hiring us to do title work and to close a loan. That's our job. And so if we find a title defect, it is not that we are not doing our job. It's we're doing the exact thing you've hired us for.
Sure.
And you, as a buyer's agent, don't like. Oftentimes, buyer's agents be like, "You're just blowing up my deal. Like, why are you doing this?" Because you don't want this defect to carry over to your buyers when they go to sell it. And now they're looking, and now we're even farther away from when that defect occurred, harder to fix. And they're looking at you, and they're looking at me, and they're saying, "Why didn't we fix this when I bought it?" So we have to. We can't let it go. And so we're doing our job when that happens. And I know it's annoying and it's frustrating, but that's genuinely what we're hired for. And we can't ignore title defects just because it's annoying. So that's one of the things that I wish agents understood. And also, you're hiring us for title and to close a loan. You're paying us a flat fee. You're not hiring us for litigation or conflict management. So when you are getting into a fight with that seller over X, Y, and Z, that is not a part of what we do. That is not a part of my flat fee. But we can at times give you some guidelines and guidance on how to handle it. But if it's going full scorched earth and everybody's fighting, we're going to refer you to a litigation attorney.
Sure.
Because I am the fainting goat of lawyers. Like, I don't fight. Like, I always tell friends that get into legal trouble, either criminal or they want to sue somebody, and they're like, "Can you help me?" I'm always like, if you want to lose, Absolutely. Like, you can hire me and you will lose because I'm not good at any of it. And I'm not hiring attorneys who like to fight. Like everybody that we have at the firm, we're transactional.
Yeah.
And so once you get into a fight, you're better served hiring somebody else. And it's not because I don't love you that I'm not doing your like litigation. It's because I'm not good at it.
Yeah, I think it's well, it's good that you know to stay in your own lane there, right?
Exactly.
And so many people try to do so many things and then realize you're not great at any of them because you're not focused on one. I think, and certainly you know this, right? Because I've worked with probably not as many agents as you have because of the number of transactions that you guys
Right.
manage, but we manage a lot of transactions too. So thousands of agents over 20 some years, and I've noticed, and I recognize this probably about my sixth or seventh year. I'm a slow learner for sure, but um, the pros, right, the really good agents that do a lot of business are the ones that I've noticed almost never freak out.
Right.
It's usually the newer agents that are needing this paycheck to make their mortgage or rent payment
Right.
because they're stressed out financially, right? And they, not everyone, but some people are just wound up tight as well.
Well, and also if they get to this place where they're like, I can't disappoint this client. I can't disappoint this client. Just set the expectation level, and that stuff works itself out.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, right, it's so important, right, when you're in sales, and you don't have a consult. You're really more selling to the realtor than you are to the client, right?
Right.
But as we are in both sides, but we work a lot more with the clients on the beginning part of the process all the way through the end. And so I was just having a conversation with an agent this morning. He said he wasn't real happy with the way a loan officer dealt with a self-employed situation. And I said, unfortunately, one, it takes a lot of reps. Like the loan officer may not have had the number of reps needed to understand that.
Right.
And you generally are going to not say no. You're just going to figure it out along the way.
Right.
And so
First 2 years of my practice, it was just like,
well, for sure, me too, man. Like the first many years, for sure, what I was doing. And now we've learned to say no to some stuff. We're just not going to take it on, refer it somewhere else.
right.
Or, or we're going to say, hey, listen, we'll do this, but I need you to be aware of X, Y, and Z. Like we don't know this. And so until we get there, and I think, again, setting proper expectations from the beginning just can make all the difference in the world. It doesn't guarantee a great outcome, but it's a better chance of it.
Right.
For sure. So, cool, man. I appreciate you sharing that. Any last, I'm going to ask you specifically, like you started being an attorney and now you're a business owner.
Yeah.
And I presume a pretty successful business owner. Any tips that you feel like you've picked up throughout the years that you feel like, other business owners, whether they're real estate agents or loan officers or attorneys or any other, that you feel like has just been helpful for you?
I think that, and I think this is true no matter what your business or practice area or whatever. Hire the best people. Hire the best people probably 3 months before you realize you need to hire the best people. That's the biggest thing. Like, if you meet somebody that you know is amazing, offer them a job. Like, and maybe they love where they are and they're going to say no to you, but you've at least started that conversation. We had one of our paralegals. One of our attorneys was mean to her when she worked for a different firm. He was mean to her, and then he had to apologize. And she was so gracious and she was so kind about it that immediately I said, offer her a job. Like, see if she'll come to talk to us, because she was so amazing to one of our attorneys being a jerk. I was like, this is a person who understands, and she works for us. She's an amazing paralegal. And so, like, hire the best people before you need them, and treat your people well, so that you don't have that constant churn. The more consistency you can have in your firm or your business, the better you will be long-term for your clients. If you have constant churn, your clients are going to see that because you're going to constantly be training people up. So it's all about the people you bring in. And if you're going to grow beyond just you as a solo, you've got to have the right people, and you've got to have consistency. And once you do that, it sort of starts to really work itself out.
That's, I think, great advice for any business owner.
Any business, yeah.
And I think it's something you, unfortunately, I think, have to make some mistakes to get there, to learn that, because every time you're hiring somebody, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more of a reason why you should hire really good people. Because if you're going to pay people, you might as well pay good people versus bad.
And when you're small, going from solo and starting to hire people, every person you hire is that much money off of your own paycheck. So you stress out about it.
Sure.
And then you like it, particularly at the beginning, you maybe kind of want to be like, oh, I'm going to be frugal here. I'm going to hire, this person who doesn't have a lot of experience, but it's going to cost me less money. You're just costing yourself money.
Yeah.
Like when you do that.
You just don't realize it at the
Right.
time. Yeah. Man, thank you so much for spending your morning here with me this morning.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. We'll be sure and let you know when this thing airs soon in the next few weeks. Thank you guys for listening or watching. Very grateful to have you here on Beyond the Closing Table. We hope to see you next time.